Hi, I'm John Zimmerman, and I'm happy to share results of a collaboration with Virpi Roto, Jung-Joo Lee, and Effie Law. We've been exploring the overlaps and boundaries between service design and user experience design. Today, there's an increasing overlap between these two design disciplines. UX designers are increasingly working on systems that function as services. In addition, service designers are increasingly working on services that have significant digital channels. Today, there's confusion about the boundaries between these two practices, and this is what we wanted to investigate. To better understand the current landscape and how design professionals make sense of what they do, we conducted an online survey, collecting quantitative and qualitative data from almost 200 design professionals across 31 countries. About half reported expertise in service design and half expertise in user experience design. 21% were researchers from academia and 77% worked professionally in industry. Now I'll hand you over to Effie Law, who's going to talk about our quantitative findings.
We asked the respondent a set of questions. Here we highlight 3 of them. The first one is about typical scope of work that UX designer and service designer do. There are 5 characteristics: designing with end user, designing with multiple actors, designing the product or service people will use, designing the work people will do, designing how product or service create revenue. Among them, 2 show significant difference. As shown in the diagram, service design is characterized as designing with multiple actors. Service design is also characterized as designing how product or service create revenue. The second question is about the subsumptive relations between UX design and service design. For the statement, UX design is a subset of service design, respondents with service design background tend to agree on it, but those with UX background tend to be neutral. In contrast, for the statement service design is a subset of UX design, the majority of the respondents disagree on it. Those with industrial background have a significant higher degree of disagreement than the academic counterparts. But some respondents think service design and UX design are sequential rather than subsumptive. The third question is about the methods and theoretical route that service design and UX design share or different. Majority think the methods are different, but they share the same route. But it is intriguing to find out what they share in the future work.
We then analyzed our qualitative comments on the reasoning behind their answers through an inductive content analysis. As a result, we present 5 themes. First, service design for holistic view, UX design for fine focus. Resonating with our quantitative analysis, one of the most appealing comments was service design is more holistic than user experience design. However, it doesn't mean that UX design is part of service design. While service design provides a holistic perspective with an understanding of an ecosystem, UX design could go deeper in detail in the analysis and development of a specific interaction. Secondly, what was highlighted as a common ground or a shared principle between the 2 practices was the notion of experience, be it user experience, customer experience, or stakeholder experience. As this quote here depicts, we all make user experiences at the end of the day, according to the participants. Next, complementary relationship by adopting methods. The survey respondents explained how the expertise of one practice can complement another, possibly through the exchange of methods to begin with. UX design has expertise in evaluation methods with rigor, which could be more and more integrated in service design. In addition, user research methods from UX design can bring more user-centeredness to service design, preventing the service design from overly focusing on business aspects. On the other hand, a holistic and systemic thinking from service design can also help to position UX design in a bigger picture, helping user experience designers to understand their product in the ecosystem of multiple stakeholders' interactions. Our next theme is sequential relationship. To our question on subsumption relationship, the respondents share that service design and UX design can be actually viewed as a sequential relationship in terms of the design process. In this view, service design could come early in the project, sets business strategies, and identifies the channel or touch point where design is needed. These can be a starting point for a design brief that can guide UX design work. Lastly, our last theme depicts what's reality. Many respondents share that what defines the work scope in reality is the organizational needs and legacy than a scholarly definition. The definitions of the boundary here then often get blurred due to the organizational context.
Thanks, JJ. We have now reported the findings of our survey on the relation between UX design and service design. Since the findings revealed many controversial results on the overlaps and boundaries of these two practices, I will now conclude by calling more research on these still unclear areas. There is little research on the changing practices of UX design despite of the ongoing transformation in industry. The first call for research is to clarify the currently blurry scope of UX designers' work. There are at least two reasons behind the present blurriness. First, there seems to be a trend of UX designers branding themselves as service designers, even if the scope of the work would stay in UX design. The other reason behind the blurriness is that the scope of work seems to adjust by the needs of a specific project. We also call for longitudinal research on the future development of the two work practices to find out if UX design and service design are integrating or differentiating over time. Some respondents made a point that it would be interesting to see how the newest job role of business designer will change the scope of work. The interplay of service design and UX design has been one of our main interests. After this study, our understanding is that service design starts from the business strategies and provides a design brief for more detailed UX work. On the other hand, UX design produces more knowledge on the end-user experiences to benefit service design. We look forward for more research on the phenomenon and strategies for a synergetic interplay. Once we know more about the overlaps and boundaries between the two practices, we should find the means to educate students for these roles. Service design classes might focus on producing UX design briefs as deliverable, and UX classes might use service strategies and design briefs as a starting point. Both UX and service designers are flexibly adopting methods from each other's practice and appropriating them to the given project circumstances. It will be interesting to study how the methods are adopted and appropriated across the boundaries. This survey has revealed important characteristics on the UX design and service design practice at the time when the cohabitation practices of the two design approaches are still forming. We hope our results and research agenda will eventually lead to more success stories of research that has high impact on design practice. Thank you very much for listening.